for joining me in this video. This video is addressing a few main questions that employers and employees have when they are looking to do a labor market impact assessment application. So the first question that we get is, can I still hire a caregiver on a live-in basis? As you know, the caregivers used to be mandatory where they had to reside with their employer. That has changed. It's no longer mandatory. It's optional. So you could still hire a caregiver as a live-in basis, so long as the employee understands this is optional. So the employee should write a letter saying that I agreed to do the live-in basis. It is my choice. It's, I consent to this, and I understand that this is no longer a mandatory requirement. So that's one thing you should add into the application. The other thing, which is very, very important, is to mention this in your postings. So you should put on your postings that this is a live-in basis. However, this is optional and not mandatory part of the job. So when applicants apply, they can still choose to say, no, I don't want to live with you. I'll do the live-out position. So you want to make sure that on your postings, it's clear that this is not a mandatory part of the job requirement. So that's question one that we constantly get. The second question we get is, I'm hiring a caregiver with a regular work permit and not a live-in caregiver program work permit. Do I have to pay for the caregiver's transportation costs to get to the work location? So the answer to this question is yes, you do. So for caregivers, because this is a NOC-C, it's a low-level NOC, employers have to pay for transportation. This is transportation from the country that they're coming from to Canada, and also when they are finished with their work permit and they decide to go back home, that they pay for the transportation from Canada and to their country of citizenship. So that is paid by the employer. In addition, if let's say the caregiver decides to live out, as that is an option now, that the employer provides some sort of means, accessibility of some sort of transportation to come to the job site, which is the employer's home. So in that case, the employer has to show, because most caregivers will not have a car, that there is access to the bus system or TTC or whatnot. Now, there is an exception to this transportation cost. If the occupation you're offering for a caregiver is a NOC-A, so for example, if you're offering an occupation such as registered nurse or registered psychiatric nurse, for example, that's a NOC-A, then the employer does not have to pay the transportation cost. And again, the logic here is because it's a NOC-A, the wage is also higher. So the employee should be able to afford the transportation themselves. So there is a fine distinction there. Most LMIA applications are for childcare or they're to support an elderly. So just keep in mind, if it's a NOC-C, the employer pays. If it's a NOC-A, the employer does not pay. The third question we get is, what work permit should I apply for when I do a caregiver application? Well, there is no caregiver work permit application. It's a simple same work permit application outside of Canada. It's the same form, except in your submissions, you just state that this is a caregiver position, but it is the same form. What you do have to mention, obviously, when you do the work permit application form, you have to produce that you have a positive LMIA now, that you have all the forms, you have the government fees, you have the employment contract, and also that you have your ties to your home country that you will return to once your work permit is finalized. So those are the three main questions we get for caregiver applications. If you have further questions and you would like us to address it in a video or would like to get an immediate answer, give us a call today. We're here to help. Thank you, and until next time.